I'm Lucinda Otto. My husband and I bought this house in 2019. It was built in 1924. We bought this house because we love the neighborhood. This is Gerstle Park in San Rafael. It's a mix of big old houses, smaller older houses, apartment buildings, and what that means is there's a real mix of people, which is something that we really like and value. One of the things that guided this project is we love older homes and we also love sustainability and energy efficiency. And we wanted to find a way to marry those two things. This house had been upgraded over time. The previous owners had taken great care of it, but there was still a lot of opportunity to make it more sustainable. So we gave ourselves a 5-year project and we called it the 100th birthday project because we realized there were 5 years until it was going to be 100 years old. The goal at the time was, okay, we're going to try to get third-party green certification. So given that we weren't quite sure where to start, we got an energy assessment with Mickey Souza of Energineers. She came and looked at the house and then gave us a report about what are the best next steps to take and what would give us the most bang for our buck. So come on in and let me show you what we've done inside. This is the original part of the house that was built in 1924. There was an expansion to the back that was built in the 50s. So the windows when we bought the house were the original 1924 windows, and they were really beautiful and matched the house perfectly. But it was also really hot in here in the summertime. I wanted wood to replace them as much as I could, like for like. I looked into getting prefab window replacements, but because the framing around the windows is original old growth redwood, any kind of standard replacement was going to require tearing all that out. So I had these windows custom made by Wood Windows and Doors in San Pablo. The guys are great, and shockingly, it was less expensive than doing full standard replacement windows would have been. Come into my all-electric kitchen. This kitchen was like this when we bought the house. The previous owners had done a beautiful job. The only change we made was, this is a 36-inch wide range. It was gas, and so we replaced it with an induction. There are not a lot of choices for induction in 36 inches wide. The standard width is 30 inches. So that's kind of nice because it narrows down what you have to pick from, but that was a challenge that we faced. We're happy with the Bosch model that we picked. There's an electric washer and dryer in here. But most of the time when we dry our clothes, we use what is called the rotary lift-o-matic, which is a clothesline that we keep folded up, but then it can expand it when we want to use it, and we keep it out in the driveway because that's the hottest, sunniest spot. One of the recommendations from the energy assessment was to, rather than putting in air conditioning, we could put in what's called a whole house fan. And it's right up here in the ceiling in our hallway. This is the controller for it. As soon as the temperature gets cooler outside than it is inside, you turn on this fan and it draws the cooler air into the house and is remarkably effective at cooling down the house quickly just using nature's air conditioning. Another project we did was renovate this bathroom. It was very small and original from the 1950s and didn't have any heating or any ventilation. It had a small window. The whole house had original galvanized plumbing, which is prone to breaking and leaks and had just, worn out over time. So we replaced all of the plumbing in the whole house with copper. We put electric radiant heat under the floor, which was fantastic, actually not that expensive. And we also installed a ventilation fan and a larger window. Let's head outside. When we bought the house, there were already these 2 additional buildings outside. That was an office, and this originally was the 1-car garage. That is my real estate office. I'm a certified California green business running out of that office. And this is my husband's office that we also use as a music studio. This space had no heating and cooling, and we were using space heaters and an old clunky air conditioner, and it was incredibly suck of electricity. So we put in the Mr. Cool. This is probably one of the most inexpensive ways that you can have a heat pump. We actually bought this unit from Home Depot. I think it was like $1,500, and it's called the Mr. Cool DIY. This is miraculous at the change of the experience of being in this space. So welcome to our office and music studio. This is the where the music magic happens, right over here, and this is one of our 2 home offices. And the unit that connects to the outside unit, this is the inside part of it, and it both heats and cools the space, and it has a remote control, and it even works with an app on your phone so you can warm it up before you come into work for the day. This was an old concrete patio here, and these brick things were probably one of those old brick fireplaces or barbecues that used to be really popular in the 1940s. Our gardener and his family, they came and they took out the old concrete patio. They built the boxes so we could grow vegetables and cutting flowers out here. And then they replaced it with permeable paving. This neighborhood's actually in a flood zone. Drainage is very, very important. So the permeable pavers allow water to soak down into the ground as opposed to running off onto our neighbor's property. And actually over here, this is not connected yet, but Marin Water has a program where these are recycled barrels that are from EO Products, which is a B Corp based in San Rafael. They gave these barrels for free to Marin Water. Marin Water is giving them free to customers. So we're going to be capturing water off the garage roof and using it for the garden. This is where our solar power comes down from the panels on our roof, connects all down here, and then it goes off to the electrical panel through this conduit here. There is a thing called Energy Sage that is a program of the United States Department of Energy. You go to their website, you put in your energy needs, they go out and find quotes for you, and then you can talk to a real life person, you have a Zoom with this person who goes through each quote and helps you kind of compare them apples to apples and talks about, what the warranties and what they're offering and what makes it best for you. We have a 9 kilowatt system, which is a large system. It's more than we needed at the time. We wanted to get everything all at once. We got a really good deal on the financing, and it's sized so that we can have 2 electric cars that we charge off the system, plus eventually a heat pump for the rest of the house. This is our EV charger. We put it in before we even got an EV. We had the electrical work done at the same time that the electrician came to do the work for the induction stove, which is really nice. If you can put projects together, it's less expensive that way. We choose to charge it during the sunniest part of the day because that's when our solar generates the most energy. The last thing I want to talk about is the third-party green certification. With the Pearl Gold Plus Solar certification, you get a copy of something called the Green and Energy Efficient Appraisal Addendum, which is put out by the National Appraisal Institute. Most appraisers are not skilled in valuing these green energy efficient upgrades. What the addendum does is it goes to the appraiser. It's on the forms the appraiser is familiar with. It's on the forms the bank accepts as part of the appraisal. Depending on what's on that appraisal, it can increase the value of your house by 2 to 10% in terms of what the bank might be willing to loan on it. That's the way a buyer can manage to pay more money for a house with green upgrades. So if you have a house where you've done a lot of green upgrades and you want to know how to do that, talk to your friendly neighborhood Green Realtor and I can help you figure that out.